Invincible has clearly won over audiences all over the world by utilizing animation in the best way possible to subvert superhero tropes, and by having well-written, complex, nuanced, and multidimensional characters with superpowers. It's established itself not just as one of the best superhero shows, but also one of the best shows, period. Although the TV show has its fair share of insane, shocking, disturbing, and unsettling moments, there are other extremely insane moments from the Invincible comics that the show either changed, skipped, toned down, or is not fully adapted in the same way yet. In this video, we'll talk about 8 brutal Invincible comic moments the show changed, skipped, or may never adapt exactly. So, without wasting any more time, let's jump right in.
Won't be enough!
The Invincible War devastates Earth. Although the Invincible War is covered in the series as well, it's handled way differently in the comics. In the TV show, it focuses on characters limited to the Invincible universe. On the other hand, the Invincible War shown in the comics brings character from the vast universe of Image Comics. It's way more chaotic than the one shown in the TV show. The comics make the Invincible War seem like an epic crossover event. They focus more on portraying the inherently chaotic nature of violence, and frankly, they're quite successful at it. The Invincible War in the TV show, on the other hand, is much more focused on specific characters belonging to the Invincible universe. It also changes certain things. For example, in the comics, several alternate evil marks are killed during the Invincible War, while the event itself plays out like a massive Image Comics crossover. But in the TV show, the handling of those variants is changed, and the same death beat doesn't play out the exact same way. This particular event in the comics is extremely consequential. It's also extremely unhinged and violent. Multiple versions of Mark, unleashed by Angstrom Levy, wreak havoc all over the world, destroying and killing everything and everyone that comes in their path. Dinosaurus destroys Las Vegas. In the 90th issue of the Invincible comics, Dinosaurus, motivated by his crazy beliefs and using the ends justifying the means logic, decides to destroy Las Vegas. He even tells Mark that he doesn't really have any animosity towards the people who live in Las Vegas. He only has animosity towards the city of Las Vegas itself, believing it to be an abomination and a drain on the natural resources of the country. Depending on how far the adaptation goes with this storyline, it remains to be seen whether the show will adapt this moment directly, change it heavily, or avoid it altogether. But this event in itself is frankly quite disturbing. It shows Dinosaurus as someone who's extremely delusional beyond belief. In fact, Dinosaurus is one of those delusional and evil beings who've convinced themselves that what they're doing is right, without taking the consequences of their actions, intended as well as unintended, into account. And that makes him even more dangerous. Dinosaurus' morality is extremely twisted, and this scene from the comics shows that with uncompromising accuracy. It's more than enough to psychologically unsettle and disturb you. Bulletproof's family story ends in murder. In the 97th issue of the Invincible comics, we see one of the most shocking, disturbing, heartbreaking, and unsettling scenes play out. Zandale confesses to his parents that he is not Tyrone, his twin brother who died. He tells them that he's not who he pretended to be. After college, Tyrone became a leading scientist and a geneticist. He was obsessed with superheroes and their superpowers, became quite fanatic about them, and spent hours researching them. At that time, Zandale was living with Tyrone. One day, Tyrone tricked Zandale into an experiment, in which Tyrone lost his life and Zandale developed powers. Zandale became troubled with intense guilt, and to deal with that, he started using his superpowers to help people. Along the troubled waters of life, he met Carla, and they both fell in love with each other. He knew that Tyrone was the favorite kid of their parents. Tyrone was the one who got awesome grades, and he had always had his parents' approval. Not just that, Zandale idolized Tyrone as well. When Zandale came back to his parents, he pretended to be Tyrone, and during that time, he felt the kind of love from his parents that he'd never felt his entire life before. Because of that, he wanted his pretense to remain a secret. After revealing the truth, his parents did not handle it well. They started accusing Zandale of lying, claiming that he killed his brother because of jealousy. His parents' reaction breaks his heart. While all this is happening, Carla murders Zandale's mother. Zandale's dad gets furious at Carla and proceeds to physically attack her. Zandale tries to stop his father from attacking Carla, but because of his super strength, he accidentally snaps his father's neck. This extremely shocking and heartbreaking scene from the comics has not been fully adapted the same way in the TV show. It's like a story taken straight out of a true crime podcast. Dinosaurus' plan kills around 1 million people. In the 100th episode of the Invincible comics, Dinosaurus' schemes lead to the deaths of around 1 million people, and Mark also feels responsible for those deaths, as he trusted Dinosaurus before his disillusion. While Mark is unconscious, Dinosaurus is having a conversation with him in which he's detailing his crazy and delusional solutions to the problems of the world. In that conversation scene, we see Mark feeling extremely disturbed, guilty, and disillusioned. Guilty of the fact that there was a moment in his life when he trusted. And not just that, he even stood up to other people in his life in order to stand up for Dinosaurus. Dinosaurus' acts of mass death and widespread destruction make him feel a mixture of betrayal and guilt. It's one of the most psychologically devastating scenes in the comics. During that scene, convinced by Mark's oppositional arguments to him, Dinosaurus does realize how wrong he truly is. And after Mark regains consciousness, Dinosaurus even tells Mark to kill him. And Mark obliges. It shows the ultimate and inevitable consequences of the brutal and ruthless approach taken by Dinosaurus. No one benefits from this inherently tragic situation. Everyone loses, showing the futility of Dinosaurus' dangerous delusions. Anissa forces herself on Mark. In the 110th issue of the Invincible comics, an extremely controversial and triggering scene takes place. Anissa, with the objective of mating with someone with the Viltrumite heritage, proceeds to sexually assault Mark and rape him, followed by a long fight and struggle between them. After that, she tells Mark to man up while he's crying and traumatized. His clothes are all torn. This extremely disturbing scene is one of the most controversial moments in the entire comic. The show has changed or delayed several comic beats around Viltrumite encounters, so this moment should be discussed carefully as a comic-only event unless the adaptation directly tackles it. A straight-up portrayal of this scene would almost certainly be controversial, so unless the creators directly explain their adaptation choice, it's safer to describe it as a comic moment that would be extremely difficult to adapt exactly. Even for a show as dark as Invincible, this scene is one of those moments that would be extremely difficult to adapt exactly as it happens in the comics. Robot maims pregnant Eve during his coup. In the 111th issue of the Invincible comics, Robot attempts to take over the planet Earth and bring about a utopian society. In the process, he even kills Cecil and several others. This entire event in the comics involves a lot of brutal, shocking, and disturbing killings by Robot. He attacks Mark and Eve as well, dismembering one of Adam Eve's legs while she's pregnant. The ruthlessness in this scene crosses all limits. Depending on how far the adaptation goes with this storyline, it remains to be seen whether the show will adapt this moment directly, change it heavily, or avoid it altogether. This incident from the comics solidifies Robot as a villain with no boundaries. Robot can go to great lengths in order to bring about a utopian society on planet Earth, and nothing can stand in his way, not even morality. Thrag vs. Battle Beast, a Viltrumite blood opera. In the 115th issue of the Invincible comics, one of the bloodiest and most brutal fights imaginable takes place between Thrag and Battle Beast, and that fight stretches across multiple issues. When their fight is about to take place, Battle Beast's girlfriend, Thresha, sends a bunch of folks to assist Battle Beast against Thrag. Battle Beast not only rejects their assistance, but he also brutally kills them, along with the help of Thrag, because he wants to fight Thrag alone and obtain glory by killing. The fact that he chooses to brutally kill people who are only there to help him without any remorse shows how cruel, evil, and full of rage he truly is. He only cares about his glory and the stories of heroism he tells himself. Their fight continues for a very long time, stretching over days, with both brutally attempting to rip each other apart without any limitations. It's literally a fight to the death, and blood is spilling all over the place. The fight between them is unapologetically unhinged, savage, and violent, without any filter. Depending on how far the adaptation goes with this storyline, it remains to be seen whether the show will adapt this moment directly, change it heavily, or avoid it altogether. Thrag ultimately kills Battle Beast, but not before getting severely injured in the process. It's extremely difficult to top the brutality, rage, savagery, barbarism, and violence of this scene. Robot's full takeover arc pushes the series into dictatorship territory. When Robot decides to take over the world and bring about a utopian society on planet Earth, he does not shy away from ruthlessly killing and maiming anyone who gets in his way. As discussed before, after killing Cecil and doing what he does to Adam Eve, he becomes someone completely determined to achieve his goals, no matter what the cost. He becomes an extremely horrifying figure, creating a sense of dread, terror, and panic. The TV show has not fully shown the cold, cruel, and ruthless actions of Robot in the exact same way yet. Depending on how far the adaptation goes with this storyline, it remains to be seen whether Robot's full takeover arc will be adapted directly, changed heavily, delayed, or reworked for television. Will the show fully show what Robot did in the comics? Will it change, delay, or heavily rework the arc? Only time will tell. Despite their popularity and dedicated fan following, the comics are more niche than the TV show, and that is why they can be more liberal in their portrayal of violence and brutality. However, it doesn't make the TV show kid-friendly. I mean, the TV show is still pretty violent, and we are yet to see how it deals with some or most of the scenes from the comics that we mentioned before in this video, or whether it chooses to significantly deviate from them, modify them, or not cover them at all. So many questions remain open. On this note, we're going to go ahead and sign off. We hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell icon so you get notifications for the next video. Thanks for being with us. Stay tuned. We'll see you again soon, and don't forget to stay marvelous.